Yep, it's that time again. Coach's Rize Time. This is Coach C. Collins, and I'm talking to you about basketball, AAU, coaching, and just a little bit of everything in between to just hopefully illuminate and give some light to some of you coaches and people out there that are just trying to understand this crazy game of ours, basketball right now. So today I want to wish everybody a happy Wednesday. It is December 16th. I hope everybody's doing okay. I know most of the country I shouldn't say most of the country. Sorry about that, y'all. My state, California, is still under a lockdown by Governor Newsom. So, I just wanted to get some content. Maybe some people can listen to it, check it out, bring a little light to your day. Take your mind off of a little bit of the craziness we're dealing with. But, I hope everybody out there is staying safe and, wearing your mask, keeping your social distance, taking care to value your family members, because one thing with COVID, obviously because, the elderly community is more susceptible to the dangers of it, value your grandparents that much more. If you get lucky enough to even have your great-grandparents, value them that much more. So other than that, moving on to the subject, I just hope everybody's doing well on this day. So in this episode, I wanted to talk about I wanted to give some tips out there, or maybe some perspective on what builds a successful AAU program and how to do it. Because the reality is you do have a lot of startup AAU programs, Mom and Dad Elite, Other Town Select, right? You got plenty of those programs kind of emerging more and more and more and more. It's a statistical fact. The biggest, highest growth in the AAU spectrum is basketball, hands down. It's just grown exponentially since the 70s, and it doesn't seem to be stopping, because I know every weekend when I go to tournaments or see other competition, there's always new teams there. There's kids playing on 5 or 6 different teams. I mean, so that shows there is a trend and there is a niche for AAU keep growing at an exponential rate. So with that being said, though, there are a lot of burnout teams. There's a lot of teams. Last episode on About That Life, me and Coach Jelby talked about this. There's a lot of teams that are here one year, gone the next. There are a lot of teams that are, around for a little while, then something severely bad happens, and then fucking Thanos comes, snaps his fingers, and everybody's gone, right? So, it's very clear that there is a high turnover rate in this field of AAU, if you want to call it that. Basically businesses that are having grand openings and grand closings within the same year. One that I remember off the top of my head that was huge was this one called Hot Shots Elite. And they're in a program at Courtside, right across from us. This guy named Lewis started this program, poached some of my kids, went after a lot of my kids, in AAU, and that just happens, Unfortunately, it's just part of the process. But he made a lot of promises and made a lot of people angry. And, he was on social media flexing like this program is going to be this huge thing, and unfortunately it didn't, and it fizzled out, and a lot of people were irritated and left, with deficits, money spent. It was just a bad deal all around, and it was a shame to see from the outside looking in, watching families and people invest that money, time, and these kids invest that faith and yield no positive return. Maybe there were some. I don't know. I'm not a part of that organization, so I don't know what it is. I can just say from the outside looking in, it was pretty. It imploded on itself pretty bad. So, my tips today for you guys is how, if you're starting your AAU program, you're a dad more than likely, or maybe you're just a guy passionate about basketball. You get 10 kids, you buy some jerseys, which quite honestly is the easiest fucking part of this whole process. Get some jerseys made. You can go on Instagram. They'll stalk you. Instagram people will manufacturers will reach out to you to get you to buy their stuff. You get the jerseys made. You get some socks, some shoes, maybe even some backpacks. You look all, the part. You might even get a jumpsuit for yourself as a coach. Now you like, okay, now what do I do? Now we just go play and practice, and basketball just works out. Not really. Not if you're trying to make a sustainable program, a sustainable company. again, Coach Jelpy said it very well. There's two business models you have to follow. I'm not going to get into those two. If you want to hear that, please refer to the About That Life episode 13, and you're more than welcome to hear that. But the reality is this: the way YBA has been able to be successful, I have been able to be successful, is we follow a very simple business model, which is you get great staff, and it will create great employees, basically, which are the kids, right? The kids are become the employees of our coaches. And what we did was, what a lot of programs do is they try to recruit talent. They either try to recruit volume or talent. They get a bunch of kids that aren't very talented, and then that kind of fizzles out, or they get a bunch of talented kids, and then those talented kids gets poached by other programs because they all want to be the Kevin Durant's of their own place. So what we decided to do for the YBA formula was, we said, you know what? We're just going to recruit great coaches. We're going to get coaches who are serious about coaching, who are passionate about coaching, who most likely have a coaching background. Once we do that, then we will recruit whatever kids come. Because what we progressively found was, if a kid is coached well, no matter what level he is, the retention rate in terms of the parents wanting to stay, the kid wanting to stay is high, the kids developing at a consistent rate, some obviously faster than others, is high, and the overall feel and atmosphere is high. It's more professional. It just runs smoother. The second thing that you really got to look at in your business model is, you got to be on time. You got to be knowledgeable, period. Like, I make it very clear. YBA Phoenix Fitness is a business, and I work my ass off 24/7. I also actually have a 9 to 5 on top of being a small business owner and a co-director of this program. And I have to know my shit. You know, Mark Cuban is the guy I listen to. I listen to a lot of people, actually, a lot of motivational speakers, billionaires, Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Cuban, Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. Motivational speakers, I listen to Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, which I think is one of the most amazing speakers I've ever heard. E.T., Eric Thomas, Inky Johnson. The list goes on. I listen to a lot of these people. There's even a YouTuber named James Janney. I hope I said that right. Sorry if I didn't, brother. But he makes these amazing, like, 20-minute, 30-minute documentaries, just really expanding your mind on business and things like that. And so with that being said, is one thing I've learned from their business model, they say, if you're going to come at me, like, this is war. Business is war, and that's the reality of it. Basketball, AAU, is a type of business, and it is war. But what I've learned is, my competition is myself. I don't focus on the outside competition anymore. That used to be kind of a focus, but once I learned that if I'm just competing with myself, I'm competing with the program to make it better, and just focusing on improving that, whether it be making sure the baskets are clean, whether it be making sure the bathrooms we have at our facility always have toilet paper and paper towels accessible. I mean, those little things are what set you apart from everybody else. I don't worry about the competition out there. I know they're always planning to attack. You have to always think, if you are successful, there are those that are looking to take your space. They're looking to attack. They're looking to get over on you. And what you have to do is, you have to be more knowledgeable than them. You have to be ready and have your defenses and your walls set up. But it doesn't mean you have to fixate on them. Just know that they're there and know they exist, and prepare. So my thing is, it's very similar to coaching. If you don't know your shit like I do, it's going to get real obvious, and my teams are going to beat you pretty bad. If you do know your shit, then it's going to be a little more of strategic warfare. And I will make my necessary adjustments to overall, I think, in my position, beat most of the teams I play against, which, again, I don't think I would have the reputable brand, or I don't think people would recognize who I am if I was just some random losing coach. I think it's because of the success that I've been able to have with the teams that I coach, and the success that the kids under me have been able to have. That is why anybody recognizes what I do. And If it comes across as I'm very proud of the accomplishment, you fucking right I am. Why would I not take pride in the thing that I work so passionate and hard for? I believe anyone out there should absolutely do that. Doesn't mean that's the first conversation piece with everyone I talk to. It absolutely isn't. But you should be very proud of the things you accomplish and the things you get done if you are passionate about it. If this is something you focus those precious hours and minutes and seconds doing every day in your life. So, it's very powerful to me. The biggest thing I could also tell you is for a lot of coaches, directors of some of these small programs, there's a book. So for me, just a little insight on me, I try to read 3 books a year, just 3. One is usually a basketball book. The last one I read was Maverick by Phil Jackson. The other one is typically a societal book, whether it be like race relations or some type of biography. Right now I'm reading Against All Odds by Decosi. Not shit. I can't say this guy's name. I'm so sorry about that. But I think it's Not Tahisi. Sorry. And then one is typically a business book. A business or a educational book right now is one I'm reading, The Power of Now. One particular author that I like, his name is MJ DeMarco. He wrote a book called Unscripted. He's a business guy, business capitalist, very successful guy. He talks about what's called action faking, fake action. Just because you're necessarily doing a lot doesn't mean that you're getting shit done. The biggest example I can give you is, for instance, you can listen to a bunch of YouTubers, a bunch of motivational speeches, all saying the same thing, like, hey, get out there, hustle, get out there, hustle. But if you don't have a focus, if you don't have a mapped out, clear plan, and you're just hustling for the sake of hustling, then you're not getting anything done. You're doing fake action, action faking. If you sit there, like, for instance, this is an example in terms of the basketball world for action faking. If a kid comes and trains with me for an hour, that's great. But if that's all he does for that 1 week, that 1 hour he trains with me, and he does absolutely nothing else working on basketball, working to better his game, then he's doing what's called action faking. He's doing the bare minimum, or what he believes is the process in order to become an elite basketball player. Instead of taking the tools and things that I've taught him in that 1 hour and expanding it and utilizing it and taking those drills and doing them on his own, if not enhancing those drills on he or she on his own, that's called action faking. That 1 hour with me ain't going to be a fucking enough when there's 167 hours in a week. That 1 hour ain't going to do shit for me. That's not going to do enough to make you succeed. That's just giving you one building block, one piece of the puzzle for you to keep making the portrait yourself. You know what I mean? But again, there are some kids, some people that love action faking, so they'll do that 1 hour action and then act like that fulfills a whole week's worth of work. So that's my example. So again, for a lot of you AAU startups, you do a lot of fake action faking. You'll do all the social media posts, you'll buy some jerseys, you'll do that, but are you really talking to each individual parent? Are you really talking to the directors and networking? Or if you have a high school program, or if your team's transitioning into high school, are you really getting to know college coaches? Are you networking with other coaches? Are you working with people? Are you doing the necessary steps to put your program and your kids in a step-by-step process that will help them to achieve the final goal, which is to play collegiate basketball? Because that is where AAU basketball ends. You got to understand, that's always the end game for us. Yes, we have a business model. Yes, we have bills to pay. Yes, I want to pay my coaches. Yes, I want to pay my trainers. Yes, I want to make some money myself. Yes, I want people to see all the work we do here and how great it is. But the end game, the end goal is to watch the kids that I've built relationships with, that I'm passionate about, transition to college and live their dream and success. And if I'm lucky enough, and if they're lucky enough that one of those kids happen to make it to the NBA or get to play professionally overseas, I'm more than proud of them. And they show that model and example of, look, it is possible. Will it happen? Will most of you fail? Absolutely. Will most of you give up? Absolutely. But if you're that select few, it is possible. So I believe if you follow some of these business models, if you listen to some of the things I'm saying, rewind it if you got to and listen to it a couple of times, coaches, parents, whoever's listening out there, if you don't do fake action, if you really go out there and get to the nitty gritty, if you focus on being a great coach and not necessarily having great players, right? If you focus on being very punctual, very structured, very on time, everything laid out, on having a great website where they can have all the information, not doing last second fees. Oh yeah, shit. Oh, I forgot we owe this gym $40. Can you all shoot me $5? Like, making sure everything is transparent and upfront, I think, is the business model for success. And also the last but not least key factor is you have to understand it's going to be a slow process. YBA's been around 17 years. It started from Kenji coaching his sons and a couple of teams, and it evolved into what we are today, to where that now I'm the co-director, and he's kind of helped, transitioned out and given me and Eric G the keys to the castle. It's not about I need all this at once. You have to understand, if you're not in it for the long game, if you're not in it for the slow burn, then you're going to struggle, because this is a long man sport. But with all that being said, hopefully I gave you guys some good information. This is just my take on things. This is just my opinion. If you want to hit me up, you're more than welcome to. Remember, my social media is hoopstarim. If you want, you can also follow About That Life. But I definitely suggest listening to some of our main episodes as we try to keep good content coming. I'm going to try to keep pushing it out to you. Stay safe during this COVID time. Stay safe during this pandemic. I mean, life can't stop, but we got to do the best we can, right? Hopefully you're enjoying the content. If you have any suggestions, if you want to hit me up and just say, hey, Chris, I love what you're doing. Hey, what you're doing, please feel free. Check out the YouTube as well. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. Hit that follow button on the podcast, or on Spotify, or on iTunes, wherever podcasts are, and we'll have more of the main show for you. But I definitely appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, giving me 15 to 20 to 25 minutes of your day. It's definitely appreciated. I wish you all the best, and we out.